The moment I learned that I was the real daughter, I was already prepared to enter the intrigue of the rich family. But when I stepped into the gate of the Lin family, everything in front of me made me drop my jaw. My biological father and mother were kind, and my biological grandmother was so excited that she shed tears. My 8-year-old biological brother was holding a teddy bear that was taller than him and prepared for me. My brother, who was 3 years older than me, held a banner in his own hands, welcoming the big baby of the Lin family home, which was deafening. Looking at the fake daughter who had already packed her luggage and was ready to leave, Lin Ruo Ruo was in a mess with tears on her face. The story started 2 months ago. I, who had been dependent on my mother since childhood, never dreamed of it. The plot in the novel of holding the wrong child will happen to me. When a group of men in black got off the super-long Maserati, I thought it was a rich second generation who transferred to the school. When they dragged me into the car, I thought someone was abducting a good girl. When I saw the written proof of birth, I believed it. My surname is not Chan but Lin. I have been used to not having a father since I was a child. My adoptive mother has been good to me for 17 years. It's just that my relationship with my mother has always been strange since I was a child. It can't be said to be bad, but it's different from other families. My mother is too polite to me. She is too polite to be like a family. When I go out to play, she never cares what time I go home. Every time I go home with a report card, my mother never shows much happiness. Even my best friend Zhang Wei said that it is a miracle that I can always get the first place in the exam. Everyone in the school knows that I have good grades. The first place in the town is not really that good. Even if my mother doesn't care about me, studying has never been a difficult thing for me since I was a child. I did well in the exam just to get a compliment from my mother, not even once. Now, the man in black in the luxury car told me that I was not my mother's biological child, and wanted to take me back to the Lin family. I asked him if his mother knew about this. Miss, your mother has known about this for a long time since you were born. Before returning to the Lin family, I insisted on seeing my mother. Although my mother treated me politely, she never lacked food and clothing for me. I don't believe that the 17-year mother-daughter relationship, my beloved mother, my only relative, is all fake. Pushing open the door, my mother knelt on the ground, her hair was loose, and she was completely without the meticulousness of the past. She still found out that my mother was fiddling with something in her mouth, and I tried to call her mom. Mom, you know everything, you are not my biological child. When I turned around, I found that her eyes were full of tears. Sure enough, she still couldn't let me go. As long as my mother didn't want me to leave, I would stay. Don't worry, Mom, you won't leave until I leave. The mother's tone suddenly became excited. Why don't you leave? The sky has found you, your biological father has found you, why do I keep you? Why do you look so much like him? Why can't I forget him after 17 years? The mother became hysterical, fiddling with her own things, and he rushed towards me. He grabbed my neck tightly with his hands. Since you are his daughter, he will definitely be sad if you die. I want you to die. The man in black who accompanied me home rushed up behind me and pried my mother's hands apart. Mother, are you going to kill me? I couldn't believe it and even forgot to cry. The mother sat on the ground in despair. Tears flowed down her eyes, and she told me her story in an almost desperate tone. My mother's name is Chen Fengrong. She is an old friend of my biological father Lin Ruo. The two have similar family backgrounds. They grew up together, and Chen's mother gradually fell in love with Lin Ruo. But Lin Ruo's attitude was always unclear. Chen thought that Lin Ruo also had feelings for her, but she didn't expect that it would be a few years later. Lin Ruo suddenly announced that he was going to get married, and this news almost made Chen crazy. He asked Lin Ruo what he was all these years, but Lin Ruo said that his sister had always treated him as a sister. There was no such feeling at all. Soon I heard that Lin Ruo's wife Zhao Ye was pregnant with her second child. Seeing the happy appearance of the Lin family, Chen Fengrong couldn't get the love she wanted, and she actually ran to do IVF without telling her family. Zhao Ye and Chen Fengrong were pregnant for 10 months at the same time, and each gave birth to a daughter. Chen Fengrong had an even crazier idea. She used some unknown means to swap the children of the two families. She took me, Lin Ruo's daughter, home and raised me up. She selfishly changed the fate of the two girls. Her purpose was just to make Lin Ruo suffer. After saying all this, Chen Fengrong was disheartened and voluntarily turned herself in. Before leaving, she knelt in front of me and begged me to look back on my 17 years of raising her, and take good care of her daughter, Lin Ruo Ruo. Ruo Ruo is the girl who has lived in the Lin family for 17 years in my place. In the car, I imagined countless times in my mind the scene of returning to the Lin family. Lin Ruo Ruo was raised by my biological parents. They must have treated her as their own daughter and doted on her the same way. Even if they knew that Lin Ruo Ruo was not their biological daughter, they would definitely love her as before. I heard from the black-clothed man in the car that I also have an older brother and a younger brother. What a happy family of 5. Everything has changed because of me. It's Lin Ruo Ruo. My older brother and younger brother must not like me. Thinking of the future life of intrigue as the eldest daughter of the Lin family, the corners of my mouth lifted slightly. It's really interesting. It's a 2-hour drive from the small town to City C. Even though Qianjin has thought about it countless times, I was still frightened by the scene of the neighboring mansion. The house should be at least 2,000 square meters in area, and the manor gate is full of roses. The moment the man in black opened the door for me, the Lin family stood at the door to greet me, so there was the scene at the beginning. I was defeated by the enthusiasm of the Lin family. What about the intrigue, the cold eyes and exclusion? Sister, you are finally back. I have prepared this bear for you for several years. My 8-year-old brother Lin Nan looked at me through the big bear's ears. His watery eyes were full of expectations. His face was still fat, making people want to put a sakura banner on it. Do you like it? My brother is 3 years older than me. The neighbor came over and touched my head. The 80-year-old neighbor grandmother burst into tears and took out a white jade bracelet from her arms. My dear sweetheart, you are finally back. This bracelet is a family heirloom of the neighbor family. It is only passed down to girls and not boys. Grandma will put it on you. Mom, Sakura just came back. Don't scare her. My biological father also burst into tears. Seeing me nodding and saying yes all the time, the most excited person was my mother, Xiaoya. She had been crying so hard that she had to be helped by my father to stand up. When I saw Xiaoya, I knew what blood relationship meant. Xiaoya is a typical beauty. She is over 40 years old but still has her charm. My eyebrows and features are exactly like hers. It is not an exaggeration to say that I am a younger version of her. My baby daughter, you are finally back. Your voice is so gentle. Mom and Dad will prepare a gift for you on your birthday every year. It has been 17 years of preparation. Mom finally got my baby back. Xiaoya hugged me and said excitedly, wait, you said you have prepared gifts for me for 17 years. You already knew it. I tried to ask Xiaoying, it was like this. When you were born, your mother was the first to hold you and found a deep red birthmark on the sole of your foot. Your father answered me, but when we took Ruru home we didn't find the birthmark. Your mother was at that time. We had some doubts and went for a paternity test. From then on we started looking for you. We mobilized all our strength and looked for you for 17 years. Finally we found you. After my father finished speaking, the whole family shed tears, and I was also infected by their emotions. Mom and Dad, after I came back, my family took me to the bedroom prepared for me. It was carefully decorated like a princess's room, facing the sun, clean and tidy, and you can see that it is cleaned every day. In addition, my mother insisted on staying in my bedroom to sleep with me, gently touching my hair, and never felt it was too much to look at it over and over again. It was the first time I knew that my mother's arms were so warm. The next day at the dinner table, I asked about Lin Ruo Ruo, and remembered that the day I came back, she was packing up to go out with tears in her eyes. I had planned to tease this fake daughter, but now she doesn't even say a word. It's so cool, right? Let's talk about that child. We have always raised her as an adopted daughter. Lin Fu spoke first. At the beginning, we knew that she was not our biological daughter, but we still raised her as the adopted daughter of the Lin family. Although she was an adopted daughter, our family still treated her with all our heart and soul. But the child was sitting next to me. Little Lin Nan said in his tender baby voice, Sister Roro doesn't like children. Every time I want to play with him, he scolds me. Once he even cut my favorite teddy bear. Lin Nan pouted her little mouth, looking very aggrieved. I couldn't help but touch her little face. How could Lin Lulu bear to do that to such a cute child? Grandma couldn't help but say, if that child has better character, I would be willing to treat him like my own granddaughter. Old lady, I have been living elsewhere until I lived with my son 5 years ago. That day, Lin Lulu was the only one at home, but he actually thought that I was old and ugly, and actually drove me out as a beggar. Hey, Lin Fu said. From that day on, Grandma was so angry that she developed a cough. Mother Lin sighed and said, but even so, we didn't want to chase him away. 1 year ago, Lin Ruo Ruo proposed to study abroad. His grades were not good and the procedures for studying abroad were very complicated, so we agreed. That was enough. Lin Jing, the brother who had been silent, clenched his fists and said, that Lin Ruo Ruo actually had that kind of idea about me. He actually pretended to accidentally enter the bathroom while I was taking a shower, more than once. When it came to this, the whole family sighed in unison. Eat Lin Ruo Ruo, can't you do some good for yourself? The next day, in order to take my relationship with my family a step further, Lin's mother went camping with my family. Our family of 6 sat in an extended luxury car, and came to a beautiful camping site in the suburbs. Brother Lin Nan was lively and cute, laughing all the way. When we were setting up the tent, we found that a part had fallen on the car. Go get it, I volunteered. My good daughter, be careful. Lee's mother hurriedly added at the back, the part is in the trunk, it's easy to get. Oops, I turned my head and it seemed that I bumped into someone. It was the man in black who picked me up that day. But he changed into a relatively casual outfit today, and didn't wear sunglasses, revealing his handsome eyebrows. He was less serious without the sunglasses, and he was tough but with a bit of bookishness. I looked down along his deep and clear eyes, and saw his high nose bridge, red lips and white lips. Thinking of the touch I just touched, it was cool and soft. He kissed my forehead, and I clearly felt my face getting hot. I knew my face must be red now. Miss Lin had forgotten me after not seeing me for a few days. The other person waved his hand in front of my eyes a few times, looking at me with a smile. The subwoofer, the sound is nice too. Wait, when did I become so lustful? By the way, thank you for what happened that day. When I came to my senses, I thanked him. Miss Lin was polite. The other person nodded at me, took the parts from my hand and strode forward. On the way to the campsite, I kept thinking about the identity of the man in black. Since he could pick me up, it meant that he was related to the Lin family. The relationship between us is extraordinary, and he is deeply trusted by my parents. Could he be the driver of the Lin family? No wonder I didn't see him along the way. Turns out he was driving. I nodded. Yes, the coat he was wearing, if I remember correctly, should be a very famous foreign brand, and it is very expensive. I didn't expect the neighbor's driver to be so rich. I muttered softly. The footsteps of the person in front paused, and soon arrived at the location to install the tent. With the help of the man in black, the tent was quickly installed. We sat down together and chatted around the fire. I took the drink handed to me by the neighbor and took a sip. Yining hasn't introduced it to you yet, Lin Fu said. This is your Uncle Zhang's child, Qianjin. You should have met each other, right? After that, Lin Fu leaned close to my ear and said, Dad has arranged a baby marriage for you two since you were young. What do you think? Dad has a good eye, right? I took a sip of the drink and spit it out. Lin's mother, who was sitting next to Lin's father, quickly patted him and whispered that I told you to tell us later, don't scare us. Yining looked at me again. It's okay, nowadays free love is advocated. If you don't want to, even if the other party is the emperor, we won't marry. That's right, that's natural. Don't be afraid. The neighbor's father and mother sang the same tune and spoiled their daughter to the end, without considering the other protagonists sitting on the field. At this moment, Artificial was slowly wiping off the drink on his body, while talking to my brother Lin Ji. Oh, that's right, Zhang Yan was sitting opposite me, and I sprayed the drink on him. During this period, the erotic things came to an end temporarily, because there was a more important thing waiting for me. There was a month left before the college entrance examination. After returning to the Lin family, Lin's father helped me transfer to City C. In order to supplement my nutrition, Lin's mother cooked for me at home every day, and Lin's father picked me up from school every day. With the meticulous care of my family, I was not affected much by this incident. I also didn't want to live up to the Lin family's kindness to me. The 17 years of experience made me understand that only by striving for excellence can I not be ignored by others. I looked down upon it. I worked extra hard in a month and reviewed desperately. Soon it was the day of the college entrance examination. I wrote the last word with confidence. After finishing writing, I looked at the time. There were still 20 minutes. I checked it again. There was no problem. I handed in the paper. I only remember that the sky was exceptionally blue on the day I left the examination room. I took a deep breath and bid farewell to the past 17 years. Ying is the best. Ying triumphant. Amid the onlookers of countless college entrance examination candidates, high-pitched slogans rang out one after another. Looking in the direction of the sound, I saw Grandma Lin, Father Lin, Mother Lin, Lin Nan, Lin Ji, and the whole family standing at the school gate. Lin Ji was holding a large banner in his hand, which congratulated Lin Ying on her triumphant return. Lin Ji really liked banners and didn't care about the eyes of the crowd. I ran towards them. Mom, Dad, Grandma, brothers and sisters, thank you. I bowed deeply to them. Thank you for taking care of my sensitive and inferior heart for so many days. The family hugged each other tightly. Tears rolled down my cheeks, but the tears at this time were tears of happiness. Perhaps from that day on, I really accepted Lin Jia from the bottom of my heart, and really regarded them as my family. In the days after the college entrance examination, Zhang Yan came often, but he came to see my brother. Dad said that Zhang Yan had just graduated from university and did not want to take over his family's company, so he partnered with several classmates to form a small company and wanted to get the neighbors to join. He was young and promising. Dad winked at me and said, "Oh, don't let other girls take advantage of you. This kind of stuff must be from our family." After that, he brought 2 cups of tea. "My dear daughter, go and give it to your brother and see Zhang Yan by the way. It's hard to refuse marriage." I took the 2 cups of tea to the neighbor's room. When I reached the door, I heard my brother ask, "Zhang Yan, what do you think of my sister?" I heard him say, "Let me listen to him first." I heard Zhang Yan laugh softly. What a little brat. As expected, people think I'm a child and look down on me. I don't know why, but I felt a little disappointed, looking at the tea in my hand, since in this way don't disturb others. I drank 2 cups of tea in one breath and went downstairs with the tea. After I left, he was just a little brat. Even if I like him, I have to wait until he grows up. Okay, Zhang Yan, I didn't expect you to have any thoughts about my sister. However, I heard these words from my neighbors later. At that time, I was just in love. I closed the door silently. On the day when the college entrance examination results came out, 2 uninvited guests came to the house, my aunt and her daughter, my cousin Chu Wan. As soon as she entered the door, my aunt touched her crocodile leather bag and said, "I heard that your Lingling's college entrance examination results will be released today. Let's see how outstanding my niece who grew up outside is." Before my parents could speak, my aunt continued, "Our Chu Wan grew up abroad since childhood, so naturally she studied abroad. You should have said it earlier. The schools in China are really incomparable. Sister, didn't you move away when Wenwen was 10 years old?" Mom was still chattering, talking about how good foreign countries are. I turned my head to look at my cousin next to me. Sister, a high ponytail, short suspenders with high-waisted jeans. Bai Ding's face was cold and expressionless, and her appearance was full of Yin. What a cool cousin, I thought secretly in my heart. This is the legendary difficult relative. What is coming has finally come. It can be regarded as a bit of a rich family plot, and I am a little excited. At this time, my cousin seemed to be unable to stand his mother. She frowned and dragged me away like carrying a chicken, and just dragged me away to a place where I couldn't hear my aunt talking. "Don't worry about my mother," Chu Wan said without a beginning or an end, and then suddenly leaned close to my face, only 1 finger away, and after looking at it for a while, Chu Wan smiled and pinched my face with his hand. I heard that there is a younger sister in my uncle's house. I thought she was the same as the previous Lin Ruo Ruo annoying, but I didn't expect her to be a beautiful and cute girl. What I like. Looking at my stunned expression, Chuan explained. Yes, I like you, but kid, don't think about it. Although your appearance is my type, you are my cousin. Don't worry, I just simply like you, I don't have any other ideas. But Chuan came close to me again and said mysteriously, if you are willing, I can introduce you to some beautiful sisters. No. Mei Mimi quickly waved her hands. Okay. Chuan looked regretful and scratched my nose. It's a bargain for those stinky men. If any man bullies you in the future, just come to me. I'll protect you. Soon it was time to release the results. The whole family gathered around the computer. Dad and Mom were very nervous. Aunt was still saying sarcastic words. I entered the admission ticket number, and the computer was loading. 712 points. I rubbed my eyes. Yes, it was really 712 points. My dear daughter is really a genius. Mom hugged me and kissed me fiercely. You did well in all the tests. Which university do you want to go to? But your spoken English may not be very good. Aunt's face turned green and white. Yes, dear, which school do you want to go to? Dad asked me. I want to study in China. I thought for a while and said calmly, the capital of China. University has always been my dream. I just returned to my family and I don't want to go too far for the time being, not to mention that education in China is not inferior to that abroad. My parents support my idea and my younger brother is also very happy. My aunt and cousin stayed here for a few days. Although my aunt is a little bit that, my cousin is really a very good girl. She accompanied me shopping, taught me how to put on makeup, and told me her love history. After staying for a few days, my aunt and Chuan were about to go home. Before leaving, my cousin hugged me and kissed me hard on the face. After they left, my father sighed and said, it was a blessing to finally send my sister away. I mean, you have suffered during this period of time. At this time, the daughter who suffered in their mouths was wiping away tears reluctantly. The university was in the next city. Even though she was reluctant, my mother sent me to school in tears. Perhaps she was afraid that the dormitory conditions would be poor. Before I went to school, my parents bought a spacious apartment for me next to the school, so that I could live by myself. It would save me a lot of social activities that I am not good at. The apartment had been renovated by my parents a long time ago. It had 2 bedrooms and a living room. Sunlight filtered in through the huge French windows. After I packed my clothes, it was already evening. I lay on the soft big bed in the bedroom. Just when I was about to fall asleep, there was a knock on the door. I reluctantly got up from the bed and opened the door. It was Qianjin. I subconsciously blurted out, is Qianjin also in this city? Are you surprised to see me? Qianjin was holding hot meals in her hands. I heard from Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin that you came to school, so I just came to see you. It seems that someone doesn't welcome me very much. No. I quickly waved my hands and lowered my head to find slippers for Qianjin in the shoe cabinet. Looking at the all-women's slippers in the shoe cabinet and then at Qianjin's feet, I began to have a dilemma. Qianjin's slippers, this is easy to deal with. Seeing my embarrassment, Qianjin handed me the meal, then turned around and went out. As I was stunned, she opened the door of the room opposite my house, and naturally took a pair of slippers from the house and walked over to it. Turns out that Qianjin is not only in this city, but also my new neighbor. My parents must have done it on purpose. This surprise soon disappeared because the food cooked by Qianjin is so delicious. As long as you like it, it's fine. Once you get used to living alone, you will gradually master cooking. Qianjin had finished eating a long time ago and was sitting opposite me with his chin in his hand, watching me eat slowly and voraciously. But there was also Qianjin. He handed me a piece of toilet paper while smiling and pointed at the corner of his mouth with his finger. My face turned red. I was so busy eating that I forgot to pay attention to my manners. When I stretched out my hand to take the toilet paper, Qianjin deliberately avoided my hand and stood up to wipe the rice grains from the corner of my mouth. I never noticed that Qianjin's eyelashes were so long before. The moment our eyes met, I could clearly hear my own heartbeat. Help, this is too unfair. The university courses are easier than I thought. That's right. Every day is still fully scheduled. After dinner that day, Qianjin put his contact. He left me his contact information and told me to call him if I had anything. Then he went back to his own apartment. My parents would video call me almost every few days to ask about my recent situation. Sister, I miss you so much. In the video, Lin Nan seemed to have grown taller. I heard from my parents that Lin Nan was going to be in the 1st grade of elementary school. I promised Lin Nan that I would go back to see her as soon as I had a holiday, and promised to buy her her favorite teddy bear as a gift. Children's happiness is so simple. They are jumping around happily like a little bird. Seeing Lin Nan's smiling face, I couldn't help but smile too. In this way, the days are still quite fulfilling. Although there are many courses in college, I still go home at around 5 o'clock every afternoon, when it is not dark yet. Bai should come to the office after class to help the teacher organize the materials. I don't know if it's because I always sit in the first row that I left the teacher with the impression that I love learning. After class today, the professional course teacher deliberately kept me to help him. I agreed. No matter what, it's a good thing to help the teacher. There are many students in the class and the materials are complicated. When I finished classifying them all, I glanced at the time. It was already 7 o'clock. Thank you, Linning, you really helped the teacher a lot. You're welcome, teacher. This is what I should do. It seems that the professional course teacher doesn't know. I live off campus. After leaving the teaching building, it was almost dark outside. In order to go home quickly, I took a small road closer to the apartment. It was not Saturday or Sunday, and there were very few pedestrians on the road. The sky got darker and darker, and there seemed to be footsteps approaching behind me. I only had 10 minutes to get home. I comforted myself and quickly quickened my pace. I heard the footsteps behind me also quickened. The distance was getting closer and closer, and the uneasiness in my heart deepened a little bit. It's bad. I can't let him know where I live. I turned around and ran towards another old community. The person behind me also ran, using the speed of the 800-meter physical test. The person seemed to be temporarily left behind by me. I wanted to find I didn't have time to think about it. I dialed Zhang Yan's number, which was Lin Zhang Yan. The call was connected very quickly. Zhang Yan, I seemed to be followed. I suppressed my voice and trembled. What? Where are you? There was a sound of a chair falling to the ground from the phone. It was in the alley next to the university and a community. The road outside seemed to be called Chaoshi Road. Fortunately, I glanced at the road sign when I ran. If I remember correctly, I was on Chaoshi Road. Listen to me, don't hang up the phone yet, find a place to hide, don't make a sound, I'll be there soon. The stiff voice seemed to give me reassurance. I held the phone quietly, telling myself again and again not to be afraid. The footsteps were getting closer. The man's obscene voice came. Little girl, don't hide, uncle just wants to take you home. The man's voice was very close, he seemed to have heard the sound of my phone call just now. No, I can't hide anymore. The other end of the alley is a dead end. I can't recite 3 numbers silently. I rushed out of the alley, smashed the phone in my hand into the man's face, and ran desperately along the west road in the opposite direction of the man. I heard the man swear and then chased me from behind. I had only one thought in my mind, to run as hard as I could, to exercise my physical strength and overdraw. Suddenly, a man appeared in front of me. I didn't have time to stop, and I bumped into the man's arms. Just as I was about to struggle, a familiar voice came from above my head. Don't be afraid, Ying, I am Zhang Yan. Hearing the familiar voice, my heart fell to the ground, as if I had found a life-saving straw. I hugged Zhang Yan tightly and refused to let go. In fact, it was mainly because my legs were weak. Zhang Yan also hugged me tightly. It seemed that he was afraid. Zhang Yan smells good, a familiar smell that is hard to describe. Bang bang bang, this time the heartbeat. The sound is Zhang Yan's. Fanzhou, don't let him get away, Zhang Yan suddenly shouted. Looking back, I didn't expect Zhang Yan had brought helpers. Don't worry, brother Yan. The Fanzhou he mentioned was pressing the pervert who was following me to the ground. After we worked together to send the pervert to the police station, we found out that he was still a fugitive thanks to Zhang Yan for coming in time, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. By the way, nasal sound, this is a member of my studio Fanzhou on the way home. Zhang Yan introduced me to what happened just now. Thank you, brother Fanzhou, you are polite. Sister-in-law. Fanzhou waved his hand. What sister-in-law? My face got hot. Haha. Zhang Yan coughed twice. Fanzhou misunderstood. Bai is the neighbor's sister. Oh, it's a sister. Sorry, despise sister. Fanzhou deliberately emphasized the word sister. My face got even redder after Fanzhou left. Zhang Yan and I went home together. In the elevator, I expressed my gratitude to Zhang Yan again. To express my gratitude, Zhang Yan did help me a lot. I thought I had to express my gratitude anyway. By the way, Zhang Yan, when is your birthday? Zhang Yan glanced at me. I'm just asking, it's after your birthday. I'll tell you after your birthday. The elevator will soon arrive, Zhang Yan. I called Zhang Yan, who was opening the door. Well, Zhang Yan turned around. What's wrong? As if he realized something, Zhang Yan hesitated. Yang had the materials in his hand. I know you don't dare to live alone. I'll put the materials back first. I'll accompany you later. Actually, I just want to tell you, don't tell my parents. I don't want them to worry about this. Zhang Yan looked at me puzzled. I'm fine, I dare. I hurried to continue. Okay, Zhang Yan finished speaking and walked straight into the house. To be honest, I was a little afraid. This is not to trouble Zhang Yan anymore. I didn't expect that. After a while, Zhang Yan changed into pajamas and knocked on my door. Zhang Yan, what are you doing? I don't dare to sleep alone. Can you accompany me? Zhang Yan came close to me and spoke, his voice gentle. It was outrageous. Zhang Yan lived in the guest room that night. With Zhang Yan there that night, I was not afraid at all. The days passed quickly. My 18th birthday was coming. Mom and Dad planned to hold a grand coming-of-age ceremony for me. They said they would invite everyone they knew to come and see their baby daughter. I rejected this idea because I was in college now and didn't want to take leave to go home and make a big fuss. On the other hand, I was a little socially anxious. I have always had this problem. It is also because I grew up in silence. I didn't have contact with many people since I was a child. Others just thought I was aloof and didn't like to talk much. My classmates also gave me the nickname of Iceberg Beauty, saying that I really suffered when I saw strangers. I didn't know what to say, and after repeated excuses, Mom and Dad insisted on bringing the whole family to celebrate my birthday. I still had classes at school on my birthday, so I went to school early. After a busy day, I returned home and pushed open the door. The room was dark. Maybe Mom and Dad couldn't come because of something. Suddenly the lights came on. Happy birthday. My parents and the whole family were standing in the house. Xiao Linan was holding a big cake, and my brother was holding a long thing in his hand. I walked closer and saw that they wished Ying a happy birthday. Sure enough, the banner was already prepared by my mother. There was a table full of delicious food, and the whole family was sitting at the table happily. This was the happiest birthday I have ever had in my life. I also invited Zhang Yan. My brother suddenly came over and said to me mysteriously, "It's just that the boy seemed to be very busy, so he hasn't come yet." I don't know when, but I started to care about Zhang Yan's words and deeds. But a man as outstanding as Zhang Yan, would he like me? Would he dislike me? In the past 17 years, my mother still only treated me as a sister. I shook my head. Now I already have the happiest family, so I shouldn't expect anything else. After we finished eating, Zhang Yan still came. Oh, I just remembered that I have work early tomorrow morning. Dad pretended to be. I slapped my head and said, Yes, then we'll go first. Someone agreed. Zhang Yan, I'll ask you to take good care of us in the future. Before leaving, Mom hugged and kissed me. Why is the picture getting weirder and weirder? After seeing my parents off, I asked Jiang Yan if she had eaten. I had a social event tonight and I had already eaten outside. Then I noticed that Jiang Yan seemed to have drunk some wine, but she shouldn't be drunk. She also helped me clean up the remaining dishes. After finally cleaning up, I shook the water off my hands and said, "Oh, this is for you." Jiang Yan took out an exquisite small box from her coat. When she opened it, she saw a heart-shaped diamond necklace with a transparent pink gemstone in the heart. It was so beautiful. "Jiang Yan, this is too expensive. Thank you as long as you like it. This necklace was specially made by someone 2 months ago. There is only one in the world." 2 months ago, it turned out that Jiang Yan had already prepared it. Jiang Yan took out the necklace from the box and bent down slightly to put it on me. Her lips were closest to my ear. "It's too tight. Why apologize?" Jiang Yan touched my head. "No one has ever made a cake for me. I like it very much." "Really?" Jiang Yan went to the kitchen to cook 2 more dishes. While Jiang Yan was cooking, I took a look at Jiang Yan's apartment. The layout of the room is very similar to mine, but the decoration style is all black and white, which looks cold but not out of style. During the meal, Jiang Yan told me that she seldom celebrated her birthday before. When she was a child, her family was busy and always forgot her birthday. When she grew up and was alone, she didn't want to celebrate it anymore. I patted Jiang Yan on the shoulder. "It doesn't matter. Jiang Yan, our birthdays are only 1 day apart. I will definitely remember your birthday in the future. Diane, you can accompany me today." "I'm very happy." After dinner, Jiang Yan and I sat in the living room and chatted. A Patrick doll that was out of tune with the black and white decoration attracted my attention. "Why does my doll look so familiar?" "Jiang Yan, you like Patrick?" Jiang Yan also followed my gaze to look at the doll. "I guess so. This is the doll I met when I was a child. A good friend of mine gave it to me. It has been kept until now. He must be someone very important to you, very important." Jiang Yan looked at the doll with a smile, as if he was recalling something. I looked at the doll carefully. The rough workmanship and the low-quality fabric made it look more and more familiar. It really looked like the Patrick star that I caught with the trap when I was 5 years old. However, I seemed to have given it to someone. I turned my head and looked at Jiang Yan again. He was sitting on the sofa with a glass of red wine in his hand. I don't know when it was poured. It looked really good. It might be a gift from me. If I had seen Jiang Yan before, I would never have forgotten him. Jiang Yan looked at me with a smile, then looked at the Patrick star, then looked at him again. "Lin, do you think he looks familiar?" I nodded. "Wait for me a moment." After saying this, Jiang Yan walked into the bedroom. When he came out, he handed me a photo. The photo showed a cute little fat boy holding the Patrick star in his hand and smiling happily. Looking at the background again, this was me when I was a child. "The community you used to live in?" Looking at the child in the photo, I remembered that when I was 5 years old, a little brother whom we had never seen came to the community. I heard from the neighbor's grandfather that his name was Xiaopeng. He was 9 years old and was Grandma Zhang's grandson. He came from the city and would live here for a summer vacation. I remember that the children in the community thought he was fat, and no one wanted to play with him. One day, I caught a ring for the first time at the school gate, and it was Patrick's star. I was so happy at that time. When I returned to the community, I happened to see Xiaopeng, sitting alone in the yard, looking at the children playing on the other side with envy. "This is for you." I walked to Xiaopeng brother and gave him the Patrick star. From that day on, I became Xiaopeng brother's only good friend. Later, Xiaopeng brother moved away at the end of the summer vacation. From that day on, I never saw him again. "Jiang Yan, you are Xiaopeng brother." I still have some doubts. Although the facial features are similar, looking at the handsome guy in front of me, it is really hard to tell the difference between him and the handsome guy. It was me, Jiang Yan, who connected the two of us together. It turned out that Jiang Yan had the best relationship with Grandma Zhang. After he returned to the city after the summer vacation when he was 9 years old, Grandma Zhang died of illness. He never returned to the small town until my parents asked him to investigate my blood relationship. Jiang Yan said that when he saw me at school that time, he recognized me at first sight and couldn't help but sigh at the wonder of fate. I never thought that many years ago, perhaps the moment I gave Patrick star to Jiang Yan, everything was already doomed. From that day on, Jiang Yan always asked me to go to his house for dinner, and I never got tired of it. My relationship with Jiang Yan began to become closer. Soon winter came quietly, and the shops on the street began to hang Santa Claus and colorful Christmas stockings. I urged Jiang Yan to get a Christmas tree to set off the atmosphere. So on Christmas Eve, Jiang Yan came to my house with a huge Christmas tree, and I hung up all the small colored lights and decorations I had prepared in advance. Go against the backdrop of the night, it has a unique flavor. Jiang Yan, look, it's snowing. Snowflakes are floating outside the window as if in accordance with the occasion. I smiled and looked at Jiang Yan, her eyes curved like a crescent moon. I heard that the first snow symbolizes pure love. I'll take you somewhere. Jiang Yan suddenly grabbed my hand and took me downstairs. Where are we going? Jiang Yan seemed particularly happy and pulled me to run in the snow. In fact, if it weren't for him, he would usually look serious and serious. Jiang Yan was just a teenager in his 20s. He did not seek to enjoy the fruits of his labor like other rich second generations, but took the initiative to shoulder the responsibility. It was precisely because he was more reliable than others that my parents would leave the task of finding their biological daughter to him. When we got off the car, I realized that Jiang Yan had brought me to an amusement park. Today is Christmas Eve, and the Christmas atmosphere in the amusement park is stronger than anywhere else. Snowflakes were still flying in the air. I took a step forward and caught them with my hands. They were crystal clear. Jiang Yan pulled me onto the Ferris wheel. Seen from a high place, the whole city is more beautiful. When the Ferris wheel reached the highest point, Jiang Yan called my name. Today is the day my studio is established. I have worked hard for this for a year. I thought it was the most important thing in my life, but when it was all over, I found that I was not as happy as I imagined. Until I saw you, I finally understood what the gap in my heart was. Her charming voice was neither hurried nor slow, but her slightly red ears proved one thing: she was very nervous. Lin, are you willing to be the boss lady of our future studio? Jiang Yan and I are in love. Like every man and woman in love, our lives are full of pink bubbles. Jiang Yan's studio has just been established, and he is still on the first anniversary. Jiang Yan took me to a dinner with his studio members. Boss, you're great. Your sister-in-law is so beautiful. The boss has been single for more than 20 years, and finally got a beautiful girl. He saw that I was embarrassed, so he hugged me and asked me to get closer to her. Okay, stop joking. You even said less about Xiao. In return, others complained more. Boss, you're so corny. I'm eating so much dog food. I'm so happy. While we were talking and laughing, most of the people came. Why didn't I see Panzhou? One of the colleagues asked. This guy went to pick up his girlfriend. Come later and listen. He said it was a hot girl. After hearing what they said, I also became curious about Fanzhou's girlfriend. After all, who doesn't like to look at beautiful women? As we were talking, Fanzhou came. I had just returned to China and was playing games. I was matched with a teammate named Tuzi. Fan saw that the name must be a girl, so I thought about giving her a hand and letting her go on the road with me. Unexpectedly, this girl was quite fierce and kept stealing my kills. We started to curse each other, but it was not enough, so we said let's meet in real life. Fanzhou then said, don't get me wrong, we don't want to fight, we just want to compare gaming skills. I didn't expect that the person named Hengdao Chudaxia turned out to be a girl. It didn't matter that we met, we fell in love at first sight. After listening to the story of my cousin and rafting, everyone at the table laughed. However, I was really happy for my cousin that she found true love. On the way home, Jiang Yan saw that I was in a daze and asked me what was wrong. Jiang Yan, I was thinking that my cousin and rafting are really destined to be together, why don't we have fate? Jiang Yan came over to unfasten my seatbelt and asked me with a smile. We are also destined to be together. I thought Jiang Yan had already unfastened my seatbelt, so I stood up suddenly, but was rebounded by inertia and kissed Jiang Yan's mouth. Jiang Yan didn't dodge but came over to deepen the kiss. Jiang Yan must have done it on purpose, but it's too late to say it. Jiang Yan kissed me without restraint until I couldn't breathe, and then Jiang Yan left reluctantly. Jiang Yan's forehead was against me, her eyes were a little red, and she touched my lips with her fingers distressfully. Don't blame me, I have been holding back for a long time, but today I really can't hold it back. On the day of graduation, Jiang Yan proposed to me, and I have never seen I used a helicopter to pick up the person I proposed to. After the graduation ceremony, I got on the helicopter that Jiang Yan prepared for me amidst the surprised eyes of all my classmates. Along the way, my headphones were filled with the words Jiang Yan wanted to say to me. Dear Nin, after we parted at the age of 9, I never thought I would meet you again. It was God who blessed me and promised to help Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin, but I didn't expect that I would be the one who benefited the most. When I saw you again, you were sitting by the window in the classroom doing your homework. The sunlight treated your hair as a shadow, which was outlined on the draft paper stroke by stroke, and also in my heart. I didn't expect that such a weak little girl had her own stubbornness in her bones. On the day I took you away, in front of your adoptive mother, I didn't shed a single tear, but I just couldn't forget it. When you left home, the moment you cried until you were about to suffocate, my heart actually began to ache. From childhood to adulthood, I have been an extremely rational person with poor empathy. After I met you, I even prayed to God several times to let the girl I love live a happy life. Your departure has never been important to me. What is important is loving you. Lin, will you marry me? The route of the helicopter seemed to have been arranged long ago. When the voice in the headset finished speaking, Jiang Yan happened to walk to me. My tears had already collapsed. I ran towards Jiang Yan as if this way I could say earlier, the answer that I have said thousands of times in my heart, Jiang Yan, I am willing. The whole text is over.